Today's video is brought to you by the safeandvaultstore.com. That's the safeandvaultstore.com. Memorial Day sale. Huge savings. No tax plus 10% off plus free shipping all month long at the safeandvaultstore.com. Coupon code MEMORIAL. Again, that's coupon code MEMORIAL at the safeandvaultstore.com. Click the link below right now and grab a safe. Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green and you're tuning into AMTV, Alternative Media Television. It is May 19th, Thursday, 2016. I just personally spent the last 48 hours barreled over a toilet puking my guts out with some kind of food poisoning, and man, does it humble you. I mean, really a come to Jesus moment, you know, where you're praying pretty much on your knees that you'll come back to life, you'll get a second chance to do what you love to do, to spend that time with your friends and family. But when I woke up this morning, still kind of shaking and honestly sweating, you might notice I've got some sweat on my temple because I'm still probably running a fever. I wanted to hurl again. I wanted to puke my guts out once again after learning that another plane was hijacked. In addition to the other planes, you know, like the conspiracy that was Flight MH370, which occurred, I believe, in 2014. A new jet coming from the Paris attacks region, from Paris to Egypt, Flight 804, was allegedly hijacked through an act of terrorism. Get this, with 3 air marshals on board. Yeah, that's right, 3 air marshals that were supposed to stop this sort of thing were unable to prevent this plane plunging into the sea somewhere off the coast of Greece, taking a hard left about 90 degrees and a hard right 360 degrees before plunging under 10,000 feet somewhere into the depths of the ocean below, with 66 passengers, I believe, on board, and including women and children. Again, my heart goes out to the victims and their families. You know, they should be irate. But again, this is common practice now, just like what we saw in 2014 with Flight MH370, which, by the way, they just lied to us and told us that it disappeared, that it just went poof. It was like a ghost plane that veered dramatically left from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. You know, they wanted to quell panic at the time. They didn't want to let you know the truth. There was actually an act of terrorism, that the plane was potentially hijacked and everybody was murdered on board, up to and over 200 plus people, including the pilots themselves. They just covered it up. And then what happened later? They spent millions and millions of dollars looking for a plane where they knew where it was. Of course, the U.S. government and foreign governments were in coordination with this. Who knows? Maybe they even shot it down out of the sky, and that's why they covered it up. But they then said that they somehow found like scraps of the plane from Reunion Island, which isn't that a convenient name, just playing semantics. Reunion Island is where they found the scraps. They just created this convoluted mess of lies, but now they can't even cover it up because it's far too common. And it's coming from hotbed terrorist regions like Paris. Francois Hollande was informed about this earlier, so was the President of the United States, Barack Hussein and the membrane Obama, on its way to Egypt. An absolute tragedy. And it just goes to show you you're not any safer today than you were pre-9/11. You're actually less safe. And again, they had 3 marshals on board. An absolute disgrace. And isn't it also interesting timing? At the same time, Donald Trump drops the R word, rape, alleging and accusing the president, as have at least 3 women, up to a dozen more, of sexual misconduct and rape.
You know, this sort of sets a stage. People have seen this. People have seen Kerry. They've seen Rowan. They've seen others now that are coming forward that were mentioned in that story, which frankly wasn't even that bad, if you want to know the truth. It's not like, I hope that people that haven't read it.
People like Paula Broadwell, Juanita Broderick, and many others, to name a few examples. But CNN doesn't think that's a story. In fact, if you go to CNN.com right now, at least when I checked a couple of minutes ago, the only stories that they're pitching are about this jet, Flight 804. It's as if the president, the former president of the United States, and now his wife is running to become the next president, that for some reason this isn't applicable for the news cycle. The fact that Donald Trump was just interviewed on Sean Hannity and dropped and reminded the American public of a giant bombshell that a lot of millennials, especially women, are not familiar with. They don't know any of this because the mainstream media doesn't talk about it. You see, the mainstream media did an investigative report on Donald Trump over the past few days, looking into his past with women, trying to falsely paint him as a misogynist, But even if you just look at Donald Trump, you know that's not the case. You look at the strong, powerful women and family members in his life, like his wife, like his daughter, especially Ivanka, who is a very strong, powerful, smart, intelligent woman. It paints him in this negative light for a reason. But isn't it interesting that CNN does not think that the story of Donald Trump dropping the R word has no significant merit to be run on its airtime? It just goes to show you that the mainstream media tells you what to believe. They cover shit up like they did with Flight MH370 until they can't cover it up anymore. And there's continuous acts of terrorism and attacks. Remember Flight MH17, another plane that was allegedly shot out of the sky and conveniently orchestrated and engineered to blame Russia, and specifically Vladimir Putin at the time, who was involved in an incursion in Ukraine, really just defending his own motherland territory. Isn't it interesting how they only paint the picture that they want you to believe? You see, Flight 804 is a convenient narrative now because there's the war on ISIS, another entity that the CIA created, as they created all CIA, and then that turned into ISIS. And Obama lied to the American public when he was running for president in 2008 and 2012, saying he would disengage from these wars, even though he's been actually far worse than George W. Bush. He's only continued the wars. He's like one of the only presidents that's been engaged in war for his entire 2 terms. Whether or not this is the continuation in Iraq and Afghanistan or Syria, or he's written more drone strikes as well than George W. Bush did. He kept Guantanamo Bay open. He just lied to all of our faces, right? And if any of you voted for him, you're just a freaking idiot. He just played the black card. The same thing that Hillary Rodham Clinton is doing now, playing the woman card, even though her own husband has been accused of rape and sexual misconduct and has lied, which is a felony, to the American people, saying he did not sleep or have sexual relationships with that woman, Monica Lewinsky. The guy has a freaking proven track record like Bill Cosby.
But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
And somehow to CNN, it's not relevant. Somehow to NBC, it's not relevant. MSNBC, it's just not relevant. It's absolutely disgraceful. And again, after coming off an intense sickness the last 48 hours and quite literally hurling that entire time, I wanted to hurl again because my heart goes out to the victims, the tragedy of the lives lost, but also I'm just sickened by the lies. I'm sickened by the fact that I was actually called a conspiracy theorist in 2014.
Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're tuning into AMTV Alternative Media Television. So according to Malaysian authorities, Flight 370 has been found. Not really. You see, they don't have any physical hard evidence at all. But they do believe without a reasonable shadow of a doubt, that's the claim, that the plane dropped somewhere and crashed in the Indian Ocean. No hard evidence, no physical evidence. But it's been found in order to quell fears and to quell the conspiracy theories, which I believe to be fact, or more facts at this point than what we've been receiving from the Malaysian government, authorities, or the intelligence community at large.
For just painting the obvious picture and pointing out the hard facts that it's impossible for a flight like MH370 to disappear from radar. It just can't poof or go poof in the middle of nowhere in today's technological society. Again, they know what you're saying, what you're doing. They can locate you by satellite now. Google, through the algorithms that they create, know you better than you know yourself. That's how they serve and feed you advertising. This is the technological age where they're creating synthetic genomes, for God's sakes. They're actually merging humans with pigs. I read that the other day, to grow pancreases and those kinds of vital bodily organs. In this kind of day and age, they just don't lose a flight. But what they can do is skew the media. They can tell you a bold-faced lie. They can cover up Flight MH370, or they can paint an irrelevant picture when it comes to Flight MH17. Now they're likely telling you the truth because they just can't cover it up anymore, and it feeds a very popular let's fight ISIS narrative, which they've been building over the entire 2 terms that Barack Obama has been bombing the shit out of this area. I can throw out statistic after statistic. What is it? 500,000 plus civilian lives dead in Syria as a result of the intervention and the gun running courtesy of Barack Obama, from Libya into places like Syria. An absolute disgrace. You know, the comedian that spoke at the press dinner, can't think of his name at the time, who asked the president, hey, same time last year you were killing Osama bin Laden. Who you murdering tonight, Mr. President? Or, hey, I heard you hang out with Steph Curry because you both like to drop bombs from long distances. I mean, couldn't it have said it any better? This president is a freaking murderous tyrant. He's got blood on his hands, worse than George W. Bush. And it's just cover-up after cover-up. But nobody seems to give a shit. Nobody seems to give a shit that Bill Clinton, the former president of the United States, has been accused of multiple rape allegations by at least 3 up to dozens and dozens of women of sexual misconduct.
My next guest wants neither in the White House, ever again. With us now is former White House aide Kathleen Willey. In her new book called Target, Caught in the Crosshairs of Bill and Hillary Clinton, she raises yet again issues that dog the former president and now potentially could dog his wife. Why now, Kathleen, with this book?
Well, I was given an opportunity to write this book to reclaim my life and to reclaim the things that were taken from me back during impeachment when I was subjected to the terrible smear campaign, the terror campaign, the intimidation, and the threats, and that was one of the reasons that I wanted to do it. In the political climate with the elections coming soon, I think this is an important story. I would like people to know what the Clintons are capable of doing to people like me who perceivably get in their way.
I have really wrestled with this in my own mind, what I should do, and it's so upsetting to see Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton do the things that they do now and have the past that they have on this situation.
You can't make this shit up. Yet they'll do investigative reports of Donald Trump and they won't even mention this interview with Sean Hannity. They'll just replay this Flight 804. It's bullshit. It's the truth. It's a cover-up. I'm Christopher Green. Get this video out everywhere. Make it viral. Hard-hitting it in your face. Click the link below to support our sponsor. And I'd also like to hear your comments, questions in the box below. Peace.